support that?
Support.
Any discussion? Call the vote, please.
Bolton,
Yes.
McIsaac,
Yes.
McDaniel,
Yes.
Clinton,
Mr. Clinton? You'll abstain.
Yeah.
Yes.
Alvarado,
Yes.
Okay, interim police chief, welcome.
Thank you. I'm gonna try to be as brief as possible. We have a lot of things that are going on in the police department, but I just wanna start off with a brief, short statement. First of all, good evening, Public Safety Commission. First, I'd like to thank you for what you all do. I know every one of you wanna help to keep our city and our police and fire department safe. And you do it for free. They don't get paid for this, they're volunteers. As a 6-year volunteer, I wanna tell you, I really appreciate that. Before I tell you what you don't have and what we need, I wanna start off by telling you what we do have, okay? I've had the opportunity to ride with a lot of these officers, talk with them, sit back and observe for the last almost month. And what we have here, we have really good officers with really good hearts. They know they can go somewhere else with more money or more opportunities and things like that, but they choose to stay here. And to me, that is really rare. That is something that most cities don't have. It's very impressive, and I appreciate that, how lucky we are. I've also, the support I've got from them has been great, but what's really, I don't know why I was amazed or shocked, they're really happy. They're a tight-knit family, they're happy to come to work. That's rare too. And I appreciate that every one of them has been nothing but respectful to me and encouraging to me. As an outsider, and let's face it, there's people in the commission, on the council, I'm sure residents and officers that were nervous about that. And I understand that, I do. But I appreciate the confidence this commission put in me, and the confidence of the residents. And to me, I know I'm here for the right reasons. And I always report stuff to sports. I just say it, analogies and things like that. I played sports and all that. And Coach Campbell said, I think, the best. I relate a lot to him of, I wanted this bad. I wanted this job bad, really bad, which is what he said also. Many people I trusted asked me, why? Are you crazy? And so to me, Coach Campbell said it best. He said, I know this community. He saw what the Lions could be. I see what this police department could be. I do. And I've had the privilege to be able to work in this community before. 8 years was served with Rolando Hinojosa on the negotiator team as a hostage negotiator, then as a commander, as a chief and being a chairman of the downriver operations. I've been fortunate to play a part in the last 20 years of every one of your critical incidents. So I've seen this community, the good and the bad. And to me, yeah, we have some things we gotta work out. We have some major problems, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat things. You're gonna learn that. I think that's probably best for another day. But we have to do some structure changes in the police department, and we need to do it now. That's kind of where I'm at. It's not a question to me, do I think I can fix it? The answer to that is no. I don't think I can fix it. I know I can fix it, but I know I can't do it alone. I didn't do anything next door by myself, nothing. I built a good team. You have a lot of good people here. You have a lot of people that care, but I can't do it by myself. I need your help. I need the mayor and council's help, the citizens' help, and most importantly, I need the officers' help to accomplish anything. So that's kind of where I'm at. We need to work on a lot of different things. Right now, it's bow season. I'm a hunter, I'm a meadow, it doesn't offend anybody. But to me, you just can't throw an arrow forward. It takes practice, it takes training, and you gotta pull and draw back. You gotta go backwards, and then when it's ready to release, that's what it takes. I'm here because your deputy chief said he needed help, and he did need help. I need the same help. I think he left out of complete frustration, okay? I have utmost respect for him. I gotta tell you, I did the same thing, okay? I retired, well, a little over a year ago. I needed to step back, refocus, recharge, and then leave and come somewhere else and do something different. And I respect him and I wish him well. I get it. So that's where I'm at. I have a plan. It requires help. But I'm really proud to be here. I really do. So tonight, you will all have the opportunity and the responsibility to show not just me, but also this community we all serve, that this group of public volunteers are serious about moving this police department forward and protecting the residents, the people who work here, travel here, and these police officers that are brave enough to put that badge on and go risk their life for us. So that's where I'm at with that. We have a lot of issues. I can get to them at a different point.
Okay, that's your opening statement you made?
Yeah, so.
Okay, do you wanna go on to the agenda now?
Yes,
Go
I
over
can, I can. So, just to give you the quick update on where we're at this month, these officers do a lot of work. 46 arrests this month. That's about 20 more than Roger will probably tell you next door does. All right, 933 incidents, they impounded 41 cars. They wrote 739 violations, but that was 614 cars stopped. That's incredible. I see Fossil doesn't stop, the guy's a machine, but part of the way we're structured right now, he's inside, he's off the road, our ordinance is inside, our dog catcher is inside, instead of where we need him, dealing with the quality of life issues we have. So that is something I hope we can talk about tonight, about where we're at with the department, things like that. Our overtime, I'm not even gonna get into that, it's crazy and through the roof. It can be fixed, and I have talked to the clerk and Tara and Richard Ortiz to try and bring in some software and some technology to help track and monitor that. Right now it's a little crazy, but I'll be honest, I don't know how they're doing it. They're figuring out a way to make it happen, but because of that, mistakes are being made and liability everywhere I see is through the roof. And I'm not saying it's anybody's fault that's here. I think a lot of these problems happened before any of these people even started here. So my biggest thing that I'm asking for is I need help.
Okay, are we going to the department review, so we
Yes.
get the rest?
Yep, I gave you all that.
In the future, will you get a printout of the citations?
Sure, I will tell you, I'm not real familiar with Columbus, I will be. We use, most of our departments use New World or something else, so I'll get that, it'll make it
Okay,
better.
and I
And
realize
obviously,
this is new, and, you know, it tells me how many littering tickets we got, I'm always excited to see those, but it's basically a list of the citations.
I think we have a lot of areas we can focus on, and we have, people are willing to do it, but yeah, I'll get better at that, and that's another reason why we go where we're at. The number one thing I'm gonna ask for is I need some help, and.
Okay, you wanna go to the department update and
Yes.
review, or that's what?
Yes,
Okay.
the number one thing I need is I need, I came in to help Nick, and Nick left. I need someone in that role. The problem I have, I'm gonna be 100% honest, long-term goals is adjusting their collective bargaining agreement. The way some things are structured, the way the 12-hour shifts were set up, not safe, not appropriate. I will tell you what I think. I've had conversations with many people, what they think. My number one need right now, to just try and get to a starting point. I mean, I could show you my phone. It took a while to get into the emails. I got over 1,400 emails, hundreds of phone messages that haven't been addressed for months, okay? FOIAs that haven't been done. I need a number two. The problem is, two problems. One, I'm just gonna say it, you don't have anybody in the department that can step in that role. The person who requested, because the contract says the next person in line gets it, is being prosecuted from the Wayne County prosecutor right now. So even if I wanted to give that position to him, I can't wait for a year or two or three for that to be resolved, even if it does. The next person I think is phenomenal. Your next lieutenant, he's got a huge heart, he speaks 4 languages, he's got a degree, he's got 10 years on the department. He told me he's not ready for the position. My job is to train him up. I would love to see him in staff of command. I'd love to see him in some other specialty training, de-escalation training. He could be the future of the department without question, no doubt about it. But I can't have a deputy chief or an assistant in the union who, and he said in the last 2 meetings, that can't discipline or deal with any issues. And you have issues that need to be addressed. I'm not gonna go into specific cases, but since I've been there, we've had 8 internal investigations. The people that are investigating them are your union representatives who are in your detective bureau, who also are trying to do a union job and do that job. So my number one ask is, I need an requesting, and we can, hopefully I get a first and a second motion so we can discuss it more. I'm asking you to review the possibility of having an interim assistant chief, not in the union, a sworn officer with the education, experience, and training we need. That would be the first step. I have job descriptions, I can explain to you why it's a bigger role
I
than
think
just
we
the
need a
deputy chief.
motion first, somebody wanna make a motion for that, and
Oh,
we can
for
discuss it.
discuss? Yeah, I'll make a motion that we allow Chief Egan to hire an interim assistant police chief to assist him, subject to city council approval, of the pay package.
Somebody wanna support that?
Support.
Discussion.
I have a job description if you'd like to see it, but yeah, please ask me whatever you like.
Okay, through the chair, I don't recall when we created the deputy chief position that it would be, who's up next, it would be appointed position but through his body, number one. Number two, I don't ever recall it's the DC spot being a requirement to be filled by the next up lieutenant, because we never established who would be next up by anything. We wanted it to be within the department, always. I've had discussions with the unions about the spot itself, and, I do agree that it should be eventually a non-union position, because of the position that it put us in over the last year, where he wasn't able to take action, and terminate an employee. However, we do have someone in the position now who can terminate that employee, but has yet to do so. So that would eliminate that. And there are, in my opinion, qualified personnel within the department who would be, willing and do want to take on that role. So as far as going outside, we see the problems we ran into with just getting Mr. Egan in the position that he's in now, the hurdles that we had to jump through, the unknowns, because we've never done that before. This is gonna be another unknown, although we do have some now working knowledge of what is needed. I think it'd be a long-winded process, and if you need the help now, someone internal who's willing to do the job, who's experienced, would be the best suitable applicant.
So, I think, the suitable applicants in-house, and I think highly of them.
Whether this is your first time or you've attended a protest before.
Chuck, you're creating a protest already?
I am.
Alright.
That's up.
So, in the short term, I think he needs help, and it's our job to give whatever help we can to the police department. It takes nothing away from the people who, down the line, will run the department. But this, if we give him permission to hire an assistant, it's interim, as is his position now. And I think that, we need to do that. We need to give him the tools to try to do this job. And I think, we already have the people you're talking about, and I think very highly of them. And someday, they will run this department. But right now, they're already overworked. We have one lieutenant who's doing multiple jobs in the detective bureau, and, he's overwhelmed with what he's doing now because he has so many hats to wear. And I think in the short term, it would be wise for us to give the interim chief an interim assistant. That's my feeling on that. Anybody else got anything?
I agree with that.
I mean, through the chair, listen, I don't think we're hiring appropriately. I don't think we're promote properly. A lot of it is in your charter, a lot of it is in your Civil Service Act, the way you're supposed to. This is an interim position, just like me. You appointed me. You can appoint him, and after 90 days, you give a notice, and 30 days after that, you go away. I understand we'd rather have it internally, I would too. However, we are in a skeleton crew right now, and the people who I would say yes, or we can't lose them in that spot. I'm trying to trying to get a civil service meeting to get a list approved and get some idea. I like, going on to our next subject for just a second, I like this body, after I show you what we have, to tell me tell you what I think you should have, and we figure out what we can afford and we need to get on in emergency situations. In my opinion, we had emergency situations right now. I'm just gonna speak frankly, your senior officer now has 10 years on the job, okay? You have a couple that worked at other departments and have experience and came in, they've been here 1 or 2 years in Melvindale, so that internal knowledge isn't here. You have 3 sergeants, every one of them failed the sergeant test and got promoted anyways, and your contract says they move up to lieutenant next in line. So I have serious issues with that. You have lack of experience, you have supervisors that haven't shown the proficiency to pass those tests, and then they're gonna move up to lieutenant, deputy chief,
Well,
and chief.
that's another story, let's stay
But
on the subject
that's
of
my
assistant.
point.
Yeah.
I need to bring someone in who's got experience with writing policies, officer wellness, building morale, doing investigations. A person should be in between, someone in the union and myself, or this position, does an investigations, here's the findings, here's my recommendation, then yes, I make the determination whether or not they need training, they didn't do anything wrong, they need to be demoted, suspended, and possibly terminated. That's what this role should be for this job, and it's not easy. So that's why I'm asking, I can't wait 4 years for someone to get the training and move up in that position.
Well, and this position is not the deputy chief's position.
That's right.
This is, almost, it's an assistant to you.
It is an assistant chief position. The interim assistant chief is what I'm requesting right now because we're behind on everything. There's FOIAs that should have been done, and if I told you, it would make your head spin. There's a lot of issues that need to be addressed, and I'm just still trying to get through phone messages, if I'm being honest, and emails.
Okay,
So that's my request.
any more discussion?
Again, we have a candidate, a very well qualified candidate who would take that position right now,
From in-house.
in-house. And the union would approve it.
The person would have to leave the union.
Person would have to leave the union, however, we've done that before, where we can, because it is an interim spot, we can enter into an MOA saying that as soon as the position is terminated or no longer necessary, they can go back to the union.
Through the chair, I'm not for that. We did that before and I didn't like that. I don't think that's a good way to do it. I think the chief's asking for help. I think we need to give him the help he's asking for. We'll address and I don't know who the position is or who the candidate is, but he just told us that he doesn't have anybody that's willing to take the job. So I'm not sure who this person is, but, you know, he's asking for help.
Through the chair, I don't know that.
And the other thing, I wanna make a point, when I agreed, I can't speak for everybody, when I agreed to create the deputy chief position, it wasn't made clear that that was a union position and that they weren't able to discipline people in the union. So, to me, the deputy chief position needs to be evaluated down the road as well. But for right now, we're not doing anything, we're not getting rid of the deputy chief position. He's asking for a assistant interim chief position, so we can get things done and get them done quickly, not have to train someone. So that's, I'm for that.
And it's interim,
I think it makes a lot of sense.
short term. You have a candidate picked out that you feel could help you.
I can tell you, I pre-interviewed
Quickly,
7
Justin.
people. 2 of them were deputy chiefs, 2 of them were lieutenants, 1 is a captain, 2 is sergeants. I'm looking for someone that's ready to go day one, who's a strong union person. I was union president and vice president, I've been in 4 unions. I want someone that has that knowledge. I want someone who's gonna fight for the officers like I'm going to, but we have to train them up. They are lacking immediate serious training on serious issues, serious safety issues. I need someone that can come in that has that.
You have a candidate in
I
mind?
do. I have
Okay.
7 candidates. I'll give you my first one, but
No,
I don't think this is the time or the place.
No, it's not. It's, any more comments from the commissioners?
No, I do agree with Kevin, that current deputy chief position does need to be reevaluated as far as not being in the union. And I think that was probably a mistake on our part, but, you know, we need to correct that in the future. I think when we did that, we were kinda getting a win-win, help us out, and we were helping Nick out, Nick was helping us out at the time. So it was kinda like a work in progress, in my opinion.
If approved by council, when can this, I assume gentlemen, I don't care.
It is a gentleman.
gentlemen, start?
My number one candidate would be here tomorrow night at the council meeting, it can be before or after. Once the contract's approved, he could start Thursday. And others could as well, I'm hoping to get him, obviously I'm waiting to get approval before I make sure, but yeah, this person, my number one candidate also has got endless training, I think the officers are gonna love him, and again, if we're not cutting it, you're free to say, have a nice day, and I won't take it personal. I need this help, I need someone that hits the ground running, I'll be honest, you put your deputy chief in an impossible position, we put our union presidents in impossible position, here, investigate them, write them up, and then defend them from getting any kind of discipline, corrective action. The only thing we seem to be doing here, we make them watch a 15-minute police one video. That's why we have lawsuits like crazy.
Any more comments from us?
I do agree that I do agree you need help, okay? Whether it was you sitting in the chair or someone else sitting in the chair, I agree that we need a chief, a deputy chief. We also need, more officers in the department.
Assistant chief,
Assistant chief.
interim assistant chief.
I would feel more comfortable with being assistant to the chief, not assistant chief, because to me, those two are interchangeable. However, that's neither here nor there.
Well,
At this point,
if
just,
that made you feel better,
I mean,
I would ask not to do that for the reason, I need someone who has an unclosed number, that law enforcement authority, that can make arrests if need be, and can step in day one. I'm looking for someone with a lot of experience, a lot of education, a lot of training, and is gonna be able to help me train these officers up and keep them safe. So, like I
Okay.
said, I think you'll be impressed.
Any
with
more
if
comments?
I-
yeah,
Before we call the
Sorry.
finishing, the one thing that I don't feel comfortable with is blindly just saying, hire whoever you want. You know, we didn't do that with your position, I don't feel it's, we should do that with the assistant chief position, that I think that we should have input on the candidates. I believe you when you say you have qualified candidates lined up, you know,
Well, I agree with you.
but I think we should, we as a
But-
council, as a board should have input on to those candidates and approving of those candidates, not necessarily approving of the hire, which I think we should, but we should have input on the candidates at minimum. I think it's our duty.
Well, it's his assistant, it's gotta be somebody that he can work with. That's how I
Agreed.
look at it.
I agree
It's
with that.
gotta be somebody that can start very
We should
quickly.
have, we should have input on that.
And because of
I
the
don't think we should
emergency
be blind.
situation, we need somebody that can start immediately.
And it's interim, so if we don't like the candidate, we can give notice.
So we could give him notice. All right, any more?
I mean,
Call the vote, please.
Uh,
Yes, we're calling a vote on, assistant.
I agree with Joe 100%. We should know who this guy is hired.
Okay,
I can do that, I can tell you, but I can tell you,
okay.
well, I don't think it should be, I'm sorry, Jeff. Mr. Quinn, were you all set?
Yeah, he just wanted to,
In keeping with the dire need of the position, I think we should be able to set up a meeting in a week or 2 weeks to.
we don't have it, we don't have it, Commissioner, I'll be honest with you, we don't. You're busting at the seams with problems.
I understand that, but I don't feel I'm doing my due diligence and feeling my obligation to the city to blindly do this. Not saying that any one of those potential candidates isn't qualified,
No, they are.
but
I
I
was
need
told
to
I
know
would be able
that.
to run the police department, this is the very first thing for me to make sure I can do it,
hold on.
so
So
that's
we,
where I'm at.
I look at it, it's, we hired the manager, he should be able to hire his coach. And I think with our situation now, I think that this could go forward. That doesn't mean it's gonna even be here, the situation at Christmas. But right now, I think we need somebody in there, and I trust him, we trust him to be the chief, we should trust him to hire somebody to help. That's how I look at it.
I just don't wanna see our officers be in any kind of danger because they aren't getting what they need to.
Right, and I think that,
I think if he says they're not getting what they need, then how can they protect us?
more comments? Call the vote, please.
Bolton,
Yes.
McIsaac,
Yes,
McDaniel,
Yes.
Clinton,
Mr. Clinton
Yeah,
said yes.
okay. Alvarado?
No.
Okay, moving on to your next agenda item.
Like I touched on it briefly, I'm gonna request a civil service meeting to see where we're at, who we can hire. There's some question right now if there's still grant money to even send somebody through the academy. I've been there, I know them and who requires all that. I sat on, school crash board. I'm hoping that's still there, but it starts with, I need to know how many people I can hire. I've been told all different numbers. What was worked out with Chief Jones with the union in the city is for 19 officers. I'm saying right now that's not possible. I can show you how, I'd like to show you how, but I'd like to start, if you wanna know today, if not, I'll offer to mayor and council of where we're at, so you actually know how many officers are on the street, how many officers in the detective bureau, where we're at, but I'd love to give you what I think is, necessary, and what I'd like to have, and what bare minimum is where we're at, so it's up to you, I can do that now or later.
Could you enlighten us
Very
on
quickly.
our current staffing levels?
Very quickly, I will, cause I know it's late.
And while we're talking, the civil service, you're gonna meet with the civil service commission? Is
I'm gonna
that-
request to be, yeah, but I need a number to start with, I need to know
Well,
if
that's
it's,
not
if it's
dumb.
That's us, it's 24.
That's us.
24.
20.
Well,
we
let me say
we did
this.
establish that a couple meetings ago.
let me show you where we're at, tell you what I like, and then we can go from there.
For your information, it's 24 officers.
Okay, that's not what they have in their contract, it says 19,
No, I
with
understand.
possibly 21.
24,
let me-
with the 25th being an SRO.
Let me start with,
Hold on a
We're not
second. I think that was incorrect, cause we had 24, and you guys added a deputy chief position, which made
Yeah,
it
so
25.
in my mind, I'm thinking it's 25, but it's not worth
I
discussing.
promise I'll show you this one.
Point.
Let me show
I
you,
think it's 25, I thought we made it, didn't we, Joe?
well, yeah,
24.
Well, we added the deputy. It was with, okay.
so real quick, I like to show you what the 12-hour shift looks like, we'll start with that. So you have days, nights, right? So 1 week, 1 shift's on, 2 shifts are on, the next week the other shift's on. So basically, a schedule would go on 12-hour shifts. If I'm the first group, this is days, this is nights, I work, Monday, Tuesday, I'm off Wednesday, Thursday, then I work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. While the other shift is off, work Wednesday, Thursday, off Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The reason why officers like these shifts is every person in the department, from the lowest officer to the top lieutenant, gets 2 3-day weekends. They work less. The problem is, they work 12-hour shifts, and they're very long days, especially at night. I'm not gonna be honest, I don't love them, I don't think productivity is better, but the officers love them, and I would never fight that, because I think it's a recruiting tool, I think it's they can spend more time with their family, drive less if they don't live in the city and all that. So, in my world, and I know I've been told we should have 36, I've been told by other people we should have 13 or 16. In my world, the way a 12-hour shift should go, and I know I'm shooting for the moon, I'll really admit it, you should have a lieutenant on every shift, and you should have a sergeant on every shift. All the way across, okay? If you and I and Joe are the 3 officers that are working the road, and Joe and I go to, Commissioner and I, sorry, go to an injury accident, and we're doing CPR and we're blocking. Number one, if we got two officers on the road, I think it should be in 1 car to keep them safe, but we can't, because they're blocking roads and things like that. So Joe and I are handling the scene, and then we hear a domestic come out, okay? You're it. Are you going to that domestic by yourself or an alarm call? That's the situation we're putting them in. The problem is with 12 people, or even 16.
Yeah.
16 people means 4 on the shift, right? Officer, 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 officer. You have 1 sergeant. This is on 3 shifts, all right? I wanna see 4 officers all the time working. I don't care what city you're in. I have a brother-in-law lives in Virginia. There's 2 of them works 850 miles. It's crazy. He had to shoot and kill somebody because his partner got shot a couple years ago. It's completely unsafe in my opinion. I don't care if you're in a 3-mile city or a 30-mile city. To me, that should happen, okay? But if you're only gonna put 4 officers, that's 16, that's 3.25 officers per shift. I don't know where you get 0.25 an officer. That means 3 officers. As soon as someone takes a day off, calls in sick, right? With 3, you're running with 2 again. It ain't safe with 8 hours, and we're doing that now. I don't wanna see it on 12. You're asking for, someone's gonna get hurt. An officer, a prisoner, a resident, it's not acceptable. But I know, if, I know what this equals to. All right, in your detective bureau, you have Lieutenant Rahman right now, who by the way is your FTO coordinator, he's FTO officers, he's doing the gun range, he's writing policy, he's doing a million things. He's there, and you have 3 sergeants on the road, okay? You have, let's just say 2 detectives, they're both corporals, and then you have me over here as chief right now. That's where we're at, okay? What I like to see, lieutenant, sergeant, 4 officers. Same thing here. I like to see a lieutenant, sergeant, and 4 detectives. I think you should have a chief. I think you should have a chief.
Could you push that back just about a foot?
Whatever.
There you go.
Councilman. I think you should have a chief. I'm asking for an assistant chief right now. And I'll be honest, if I'm shooting for the stars, I absolutely need an administrative assistant. Tara is wonderful. I have her 3 days a week. We have FOIAs that are a year old. 4 Officer Saeed's suspect, okay? If we don't provide discovery to them, I wanna tell you what could happen to let somebody off, okay? I have council people that have FOIA stuff, and I'm not gonna give names or details, but I'm gonna tell you what that council person is requesting. It would take a full-time records clerk, probably 2 months, and they want it for free, okay? That's something not my thing, but this is what we should be at. Now, I'm gonna tell you this, I think, I wish I had 100 of them. For support staff, we have a waymaster / ordinance. I'll be honest, I like to see 2 of them. What he brings in the city and what a second waymaster / ordinance brings in the city will pay for way more than 1 more officer. I know what's going on in the city. I'd like to see another officer, and I'm not hiring someone for this position, but someone from this position go to MNET. There's 2 different narcotics teams in our area. The Chiefs unit that focus on hotels and addiction, and Michigan Narcotics Enforcement Team. I was the chairman of it. It's run by the state police. If we put 1 person in that unit, we get the state police and people from all over with Detroit and downriver. That'll bring money in. I know you got drugs being sold here. I know they're in hotels. I know they're in party stores. That stuff needs to stop. This guy will do that, and we'll have access to that resources that Melvindale doesn't have, okay? This brings in money, this brings in money, this brings in money. What's next important?
More than bringing in money, it protects our crucial
It's
roads.
it's quality of life
The
issue.
roads that are
I know
being
you
torn
probably
up
got
by
issues on your
trucks.
street. Oh, I know you probably do. You might not know they're there, you might know they're there. With this money, I wanna see a school resource officer. I've talked to the superintendent, he'll pay for that. All these are cost neutral. But I also know I'm looking at 31, 32 officers, all right? I know that. Even if you told me today, hire 40, it's not happening like that. It's gonna take time, it's a lot of work, all right? What I'm saying we absolutely need now is you take these lieutenants off. I think you make this 1 lieutenant, and we don't have to go into this right now. I think you make him an admin lieutenant. I think you have to promote a sergeant, and you have a sergeant on every shift, okay? Here's the problem. Right now, you have 3 shifts with 3 sergeants. This sergeant takes off, which he did, and you're running 3 people on. This person calls in sick, goes on vacation, whatever. This is what we're running with, and these officers will tell you it's the truth. You got a 2-year officer who's a corporal, great officer, supervising a 1-year officer, and you're wondering why mistakes are being made. And mistakes are being made, serious liability mistakes. I'm not gonna go into them, not gonna embarrass anybody. This has to be addressed. But here's where we're at right now. That's what I want. About, the bare minimum, I think, is 26, 27, is what I'm requesting. Right now, you have 7 officers on the street, you have 2 corporals that are on the street, you have 9 people protecting 3 shifts. I can't tell you, it's not if, it's when someone gets hurt. Again, you have 3 sergeants. I think there's real potential there. All 3 of these failed the sergeant test. Now they're gonna just move up to lieutenant and deputy chief. That has to be addressed down the road with contracts, okay? They just took a sergeant's test. That's a whole nother issue I don't wanna get into today. I think that person would be an amazing sergeant. I also don't wanna lose him in the detective bureau, okay? But I think you need another sergeant. Right now you have 1 lieutenant, all right? And then you have me. And then we have some support staff here, which I'm not gonna count because they don't have law enforcement authority. 7, 10, 12, 13, right? I have 4 people off on work. I have 4 people not working right now. I won't go into why. 2 are being
Now, those
paid.
4 are not on the top.
They're not. We have 4 people that may or may not come back. 2 are getting paid, 2 are not. I'm not gonna go in why. They have a right to privacy.
So we
and
have,
we're
you
gonna
have 20 names on the roster of the police department.
And
But
you
you, in
just have
fact,
one
only
leave.
have, how many is that, what's that add up to?
You have 9 on the road, you have 3 sergeants, 1 lieutenant, 2 in the detective bureau, and me. 9, 10, 13, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16 total right now. With me. 16 total with me. I don't go on the road. My detective shouldn't go on the road. My lieutenant shouldn't go on the road. We all do. So when I'm backing up officers clearing a house, because we have blood in the car on a domestic, which we happened last week, when we had some serious cases, we had an arson, they're all out there. They're doing what they can with what they have. This number can't be, and you're never gonna get to 12-hour shifts. So my recommendation is, yeah, you need 33 plus officers. You give me 36, I can do a traffic bureau, I can do all kinds of stuff. You should have 33 officers in this department. At the very least, I'm thinking, yeah, I know these are wish lists, but your city needs them. You need someone working on drugs, you need someone keeping your schools safe. We had issues this last week in schools, right? So yeah, what I'm requesting is, 32, 33 officers. I think the bare minimum we have to have is 26, 27.
Okay,
To
so
try and do
that's, and that's a long-term goal, and
That's with an assistant chief.
I don't think
Right?
anybody could object to more officers.
No, but I also
Some
understand you
people
gotta pay
pay the
for them,
bills.
and the finance director has a job to do,
Yeah.
But
so,
the council all lives here, and I think it's very important that we have a very strong police department, and I think everybody agrees with that. That 12-hour shift is in the contract once we reach a level of staffing of 21?
It's 19.
19, but it's not safe to
But
run
it's
4
not,
hours just
but
with
that's
19.
too thin.
Yeah, well, once again, like I said, that's negotiated. I know they negotiated.
Well, we can't even talk about, we can talk about, but we have no control over the contract.
Right.
So, moving on, and thank you, that's the state of it the way it is now, in the long term. Go ahead.
Just a point for the audience, we do currently have people in the academy, correct?
No.
Oh, that's right, we
No,
don't,
we don't.
take that back, we don't.
We don't.
So we do have 2 people,
And I
that-
think the money might have dried up.
yeah, I believe it did, I'll
I'm
stop
working
there.
on it.
I'll stop there. And we do have people in training right now,
We have 1 person in FTO, and they're in phase 2, so it's gonna be a while.
100%.
Just a little background on why we didn't send 4 people to the academy was because in council's opinion, we only need 20 officers.
Correct.
And that was said at the meeting, right?
It's 22, yeah.
22?
I'm gonna probably doing that again tomorrow, and probably be a little better at it.
But that's not what we can control.
The numbers, you know the number's 24, everybody knows the number's 24.
The number may be 24 in our mind, I'm telling you, I heard a council person sit here at a council meeting and say we only have 20.
That was all we needed.
That was all, that was the, yeah, but
We were there.
we'll move on. So that's long
What I'm
term.
asking for is a number from you. If you're telling me it's 24, I'll go with that, but, I'm telling you what we really need as a baseline to get, we should be hiring for 12-hour shifts, not for 8-hour shifts, hoping one day we get to 12-hour shifts. So, and honestly, if you told me I could hire 40 tomorrow, it's gonna be a minute, you know?
The last meeting, because of the situation I explained earlier, we established that in fact we have, I'm questioning if it was 24 or 25, but we made
David, you got the audio on that, right?
Yes, I reviewed him.
okay, so you're either gonna get, right now, 24 or 25, depending on his review of our meeting before you came on board.
Okay, we'll try to make it.
And I'm open to increasing the size of our police department.
Through the chair, I think you should make a recommendation, mayor and council can weigh in, and when I'm told this is the number, I will figure out how to make it work. And bringing in someone who's also very well versed on how shifts run and how to keep people safe, will make it happen. But yeah, ideally, we should be shooting over 30 for our city. I know historically, and I know every place suffers from this, we've always done it this way, it's fine. I don't know what more proof you need.
No, you've convinced me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think you need any convincing of this
Okay.
body for
I
that,
got
but we all agree with that,
Sure.
even when we were couple decades ago, when we were 24, 27 officers, times were a lot different.
They were.
Crime was a lot different,
We
You
had
know,
a team
it's-
photo of 28 in there a couple
Exactly.
years ago in the
you
office.
know, I don't, you won't, where I appreciate everything you just showed us. You could've just said, we need this, and we all would've agreed with you 1,000%.
We agree
A
with you.
1,000%,
We agree with it, but I think you need to know where we're
We
at.
can't have enough.
You're right.
We established that we have 24 as our department. That being said, 22?
I think it's 25.
25, I think it was 25, but we'll check, because we had a deputy chief.
If that's the case, then I should be able to hire 9 people
You're
right
gonna,
now.
so
Yes.
24 and a half.
Now one.
24 and a half. Now, you haven't hired, we can't hire anybody to fill the positions now,
Don't think I can. You
but
gotta give me, you gotta
when
give me
you
a
fill
starting
up to
point.
25,
I hired 20 in 4
We'll raise
years. Okay? Granted, next door offers some different benefits that we don't have here, but one thing you all did do is you increased and got, they're making good money after 4 years. You have a community that supports them, and like I said, you had officers that wanna be here over anywhere else, that's amazing. But yeah, we have to build a structure first, and then we have to do critical training that's lacking. And part of that is meaningful reviews, when we screw up, we gotta own it and we gotta fix it.
there's no objection up
Yes, sir.
here on that, and, but we can't, I mean, if we raise it to 33 right now tonight, you can't even fill what
I
we have.
understand that, I'm just telling you,
And I don't know
we
that
should go for
council would
gold.
approve it, all we can do is say to council, we want a 33-person police department,
I get that.
and I'm fine doing that. But I don't
Somewhere
think,
there's a finance director with steam coming out of his ears, because he has a role to do too,
but
and I
we can't
understand
even
that.
fill who we have, what we
You,
need now.
you gotta give me a starting point, you're telling me it's 24, 25?
24 and a half, let's call it, till Jacob clears it up.
Okay.
Through the chair, I can review the audio tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'm asking them today what they think it is and starting fresh, so that's where I'm at. I'll take what you're giving me,
You wanna
but
make a motion that our department should be whatever you want, somebody wanna make that? I
Well,
have
at
no
minimum,
problem
we have
with
it
that.
at 24, so let's leave there, we'll review it,
Start
and
it.
then we'll go there. I mean, that's your minimum, 24.
You
Well, I
wanna
showed
make a
you it.
motion that our department should have 24,
And we did that
we
last
did
meeting.
that last meeting.
My
Through
point
the chair,
was-
he said his bare minimum is 26.
yeah, my
Well,
point
yeah.
is through the chair, on 12-hour shifts, having, 4 people on a shift, starting to put you at 20, which leaves with 4 people for a chief, an assistant, and then 2 in the detective bureau. 2 in the detective bureau, they're already drowning, they really are, that's why things aren't being done, so
we
that's why I
understand.
have to show you that.
We know that, and I know we can make a statement to tell council we request 33, 43. I don't
I
care,
understand.
it's their problem with the money. But right now, let's say that it is 20, we just did that, the meeting before you started, we made it,
Okay.
that it's 24, but we're open to increasing that. But we can't fill the openings now.
Through the chair, is chief though saying he's got a way to fill them if we give him the number?
I sure would like to, I mean,
I mean, does it do us any good to increase it now, or do we?
I think you increase it now, whether mayor and council's gotta approve it, and you gotta approve the finances, and I get that, but yeah, it would be nice to say to a young officer, you need to come in now, cause there could be 10 people below you here shortly. Seniority in a police department is a very big thing. So, that's all my point, I know it's shooting for the moon for over 30, but we are where we are.
What do you wanna, go ahead.
I don't know.
So you said 33, 34?
That's with adding a second waymaster and someone in Emmett, which I think you need in the city for the drugs that are going on, but,
So playing devil's advocate, he's
Yeah.
trying to shoot the middle, I mean,
Mhm.
split the middle with the city council. I'll make the motion to increase our staffing levels for our police department to 28.
Support,
Support.
discussion? Call the vote, please.
Bolton,
Yes.
McIsaac,
Yes.
McDaniel,
Yes.
Clinton,
Yeah.
Alvarado.
Yes.
Okay. And that number can change every meeting. Really.
well,
Start hiring.
I understand thank you, I appreciate it. I'm gonna go quickly through the rest of this, cause I know people wanna go home and I just read everything. You asked me to touch on long-term short-term goals, I can put that off to the next meeting if you like.
I think we've done that. You got
Okay.
short-term goals, I think, and then long-term goals, I think we've touched on those.
Okay.
Have we not?
Well, you might have more, but you give.
I do, but
Next
we
meeting.
can do that for sure. So the last thing I wanna touch on is, whether you agree with it or don't agree with it, your mayor and council brought in an outside firm to, investigate what was done right and what was done wrong and suggestions. From my perspective, I don't think our elected officials are not my responsibility. I don't think the police department, anyone in the police department has a right to say, I'm not talking to them. That's why I include the law enforcement code of ethics, which says, I will work with all legally authorized representatives, and agencies. I talk with them, they're not the bad people, all you gotta do is go and tell the truth. You know what, they wanna hear from you, they're not gonna say, Chris Egan said this, or, you know, Roger said that. They're gonna say, after talking to a group of people, we found this. Honestly, some of this stuff probably needs to come out, that you had an opportunity to handle this, and this group didn't. You had an opportunity to do this group didn't. They're looking at finding ways to go forward. I've never met the two individuals that I spoke with, but in my opinion, and I'll ask the mayor and council too tomorrow, I don't think an officer has a right to say no. They don't give up their rights, they don't. But every internal investigation we did, their union comes up with a map, comes up with a form called the Garrity form, and I'm sorry, you get Red Garrity, which means you don't get to take police action. God forbid you have to shoot someone and say, I invoke my Fifth Amendment right, I'm not telling you anything. That doesn't work in law enforcement. Anything you say to an investigative body, that can't be used against you to prosecute you in court, but it can be used to discipline you, address problems, fix problems. And what I've seen so far is we're doing investigations, they know problems, they're pointing out the problem, they're like, yeah, we gotta deal with this, we gotta deal with this issue. But then
I'm sorry, who's doing that? Investigators or your
our
officers?
own department is investigating, but then we're not dealing with the issues, we're just not. Because I think you're putting them in an impossible position. Any officer, in my opinion, me included, who does not cooperate, meet with them, speak with them, I think you have to suspend them without pay. They're free to file a grievance, they're free to get a lawyer, they will lose, there's precedent on this forever. Now, mayor and council, you get to do whatever their investigation turns up, says, I think you need to work on this or that, you get to determine whether you follow it or you don't. We have an investigation that was turned over to the state police, that I wasn't aware of, that the state police comes in and says, I need to talk to officer so-and-so, they don't get to say no. To me, it's the same opinion. I just gotta put that out there. It's hard to move forward if we're not gonna at least talk about the real issues and address them. And quite honestly, if you did, I wouldn't be sitting here.
Yeah,
So,
and
I just
hear
wanna
what you're
make that
saying.
point to you.
And that's not, as chief, interim chief, it's your responsibility, I suppose, to have them, but that being said, they are being told by their union representative.
They don't get to do that.
Well, that's something to hash out between you, the union, and the officers, I guess.
I'm just telling you my stance, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm gonna have a department meeting, we're gonna be having some department training. I'm gonna be bringing in some experts to train, not just things that are coming from my head. We have to train in a lot of things, starting with duty to intervene, de-escalation, use of force, tasers. We just sent 2 people to defensive tactics last week, to train the trainers, but we have to take a different approach on how we handle things. Without talking about any specifics or anything like that, these officers deserve to know what they can and cannot do, need to feel comfortable enough to go do the job, that we're not over their shoulder and they're worried about making mistakes. They're human, they're gonna make mistakes, I'm gonna make mistakes, I promise you that. We have to give them the proficiency and the confidence to do the job and know what they can and cannot do. So,
I appreciate that, and we all agree with that. Going back to the investigation, I'd like to ask the city council to scrap that whole thing, I don't understand.
it's one or the other, either you work with them or you scrap them.
I'm not sure what they were looking for, and I'm not sure, investigations never seem to end.
Well, you can't start one if people don't work with them and talk to them, and that's where we're at. They've been, and there's all rumors that you'll be fired if you talk to
I
them.
think their investigation, the situation and what they were investigated investigating has changed.
You
Uh,
know,
but
you
that's
know
their-
better than me, I'm
that's
just telling you
their,
what my experience with it.
Their job.
Yeah,
So, okay, you made your point on that.
yes, sir, that's it, thank you.
Really? Where's your agenda?
That's it,
His agenda.
thank you.
Okay, it's right on there. Okay, anything else for the police department?
A couple things.
Yeah.
With the deputy chief, Martinez gone, it's my understanding that, he's, filing with MCOs, he was left in good standing,
He
correct?
was left in good standing, he was left in good standing.
Good to hear. I wish Nick well in the future. Great guy. You will never get an argument from me or anyone up here about the need for more police officers, the need for more equipment, the need for more training. As we all know, as we know, as law enforcement officers, the CPEs are required by the state of Michigan, continuing education programs. Officers are required by law, like I said, to get training every year, a certain amount of hours. The more training, the better. In fact, I was in school today at Savage Command, and part of the training, the hours a law enforcement officer has in training versus the rest of the world is staggering. It's if you went to a putt-putt golf course and had a hole-in-one that was a foot away from your tee, that's the amount of law enforcement training that we get compared to the rest of the world, working on the PGA. That's the comparison in training. And I'm not talking just Melville, I'm talking across this country.
Right.
We need more training, 1,000%. I would love to see that, one of those positions be dedicated to training, if we can, eventually. So,
Through the chair, that's part of this job description for this assistant chief, and I have, my top candidate teaches in both Washtenaw and Schoolcraft, and taught many of our last officers, including Mohammed.
I would like to see after meeting the candidates, I'm sure some of the other members of the board will as well. I'm sure probably a couple of those candidates were in the position for your job,
One of them was. All good.
so.
I don't give you-
And there were, very well qualified candidates, don't get me wrong. We did talk about, the problem we had with just riding with the deputy chief, that he was unable to terminate an employee. I hope that will be soon rectified. You do have the authority to do that, and it is well-known wishes of, this board and the city council.
Through the chair, may I answer that?
If you wish.
First of all, I appreciate that. I wanted to know whether I had the authority to do that, or if I had to come to this body and get approval first. This is kind of a different animal, with public safety and their council and civil service. I think immediately with the assistant chief coming in, we're gonna review the things and we'll make a determination regardless of what happens, down the road with lawsuits or all that has to be taken in consideration. But, you know, we gotta turn the page and move forward and make sure we don't get in that same situation again.
You have the authority to do that, and
Yeah.
the officer that you terminate has the authority through his union contract to go to arbitration, which
100%.
eventually
Right.
comes to us for a hearing type situation. Go ahead, Joe.
Nope, you're fine. Yeah, it's gonna circle. You mentioned earlier promotions, that part of the contract says that, people will be promoted, next up. I am of the understanding that there is a current sergeant that is next up for lieutenant that is not being promoted under Article 32 of their contract. Is there a reason for that?
Well, first of all, I was told that we gotta go through civil service for that. Second, I'm gonna tell you.
That's not true.
That is not
Okay,
true.
well, that's why it's good to have these conversations.
Yeah.
I think that needs to be approved, and from my opinion, from reading your charter and reading, what was given to me by the clerk, the, civil service rules, I think it does need to be approved. You're telling me I don't, that's great. I don't think it was done appropriately. I'm certainly not gonna disparage anyone. The test was scheduled, they cut down the hours of the test.
Well, there is no test from sergeant to lieutenant.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The sergeant can.
Oh, you're
becomes
talking about
the
a sergeant.
Sergeant to lieutenant.
Right, and the reason civil service got involved in this is because a councilwoman, read the charter and realized that all employees that are hired are supposed to go through the Civil Service Commission.
Well,
And until that moment, not a single officer
Head.
I get that.
had done that. I'm sure they're all nice folks on that commission, I don't know,
I don't either.
but, you don't need them for, first off, the
With
union
the charter,
contract,
there it says, but I'm with you.
we wanna follow the charter.
That's not what it says, but, the other problem I have is, again, this is long-term goal we're gonna get into. You can't have, in my opinion, and I know this is union contracts, long-term stuff, you can't have a test only for sergeant, and then fail it, and get promoted, and then I'm the next one in line, just make lieutenant, and expect your problems to go away, they're gonna increase. And I'm 62 to 60, 62 to 63 and 64 is what they got. The corporal who just took the sergeant test passed, but again, I don't think it was done appropriately. I do think civil services should be approving your lists. Now that I know how many I can hire, I have 3 lists with different names on it. I need to know which is the accurate list.
Well, for
but-
hiring, civil service is how we're supposed to do it.
That's my
Is that
point.
correct?
But you're
I
saying
was
not
talking-
promotions.
No,
Promotions have just been, you
Okay.
show up for work every day and
It's insane.
they're the next guy up.
It's
That's
insane.
what it always was.
Right.
well, we can probably agree on that, however, this body has nothing to do with the contracts and our negotiations, we just follow them. And unfortunately, I think the contract, well, goes for what, another 2 years, I believe, so another 2 years. I'm sure you'll, if you're still here in the spot, you'll have some input on it.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you on a personal level that there should be testing at every level. That's how I've always done it in my 37-year career.
That's normal.
That's the norm,
Yeah.
but that's not the contract we have, whether we agree personally or disagree with it. We have to, like you said, follow the rules.
That's the way it is.
You gotta enlighten me then, is the rules, you take
Article-
the test, but if you fail, you're still good to go?
Article
That's insane.
32, Article 32.1, promotion to the rank of lieutenant shall be by seniority from within the rank of sergeant.
And I think it's a different subject, the testing of the
If you,
sergeants.
it also says comma, if you have qualified people.
Nope, that's the full article.
No, we were forced to promote people in the past.
Right.
I'll also tell you, 3 of the internal investigations that were brought to my attention from the union and the deputy chief involved 2 sergeants. And one of them is who you're talking about. So, again, you gotta look at, if you're gonna keep doing the same thing and not addressing, but keep promoting up and expect them to train the people underneath them not to do those same things, we're spinning our wheels and we're wasting our time, so.
I don't disagree with you, however, 2 wrongs don't make a right. And if those alleged internal investigations or alleged complaints lead to disciplinary action or whatever,
Mhm.
then that's where they lead. But we can't not follow the contract because there is an allegation.
These are things to look at,
Yeah.
but this goes back to subject started on terminating. That's your job.
Well,
Yeah, I mean,
it's also
I
whether I'm in a
fully-
position to promote and what it does to the department if you do,
Well, that,
especially going to 12-hour shifts.
we should
We're always-
discuss that moving forward and see
Okay.
what we can do. Our hands are kinda tied. Right. Anything else for the police department? Fire department.
Thank you.
I did have one other thing. I would like, Chief, I would like you to look into, and with council as well, Michigan Compiled Laws 25713, the electric scooters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know I've been talking to different people in different departments, most people just follow the state law right now. And I know our officers are extremely understaffed and overworked, but the electric scooter craze, fad, whatever, is extremely out of control. They are fast, they are dangerous. I did witness a while back a young boy, probably in the ages of 12 years old, operating one at, I would guess, 20 miles an hour with his younger sister in his lap. No, she was in between at least,
Oh, okay.
but at 20 miles an hour on a little scooter, that's deadly.
I saw one coming here with two
I
people
saw
on
the
it
other
at
day
dark.
driving home from
Yeah,
work,
that's
two little
deadly.
kids cutting across Allen at Elizabeth.
I know we've had the what are those things that used, before electric scooters?
Mini
Not
bikes?
electric
Mini bikes.
Mini bikes.
There you go, mini bikes, we used to pound the crap out of those things, but we
That's what I get, yeah.
really need to.
Yeah.
Right, and they're also going down the street without reflectors on the back.
Reflectors,
Nothing,
helmets,
nothing,
there's a
no
lot of laws
helmets.
for
And
minors.
it's dangerous.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. And we got people texting, and we got people driving crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Two school zones. I get it, you're 100% right, and it all comes back down to running two officers on the road.
Right.
And my other people, my support staff, is inside watching prisoners and trying to help out. And so, yeah, it starts with what you guys just did today, giving me some help, getting me a number, and then us working really hard to try and fill them and trying to keep them.
Yes.
I know I'm not telling you anything you don't know.
No.
Anything else for the
No,
Like,
through the
we
chair,
go
I
back
was
to the
just gonna-
contract on that one.
I was just gonna mention, as you hopefully you're successful quickly in getting these, and then maybe you can make the case to, hey, if we had a couple more, I could,
Well,
bring these other positions that would pay for themselves.
Here's the other thing under Act 78 with civil service, you might have, this is why a number is important, you might have, well, I've seen anywhere from 4 to 6 or 7 people on the hiring list right now. But, I'll contact them, go from there, see if they're interested, but Act 78 says the next eligible candidate, which means if I'm number 1 on the list, and I gotta go to the academy, number 2, who's already got an MCOLS number, or number 3, who's graduating from the academy November 13th, jumps over that person. Why? Because they're gonna be on the road before the number 1 candidate even starts the academy, 16 weeks FTO, and we need them on the road. So, that you have to here's the problem, you have to get them hired and get the paperwork in before December in order to try and get the grant, if the grant's still there, so they can start in January, and they'll get out in July or whatever. So, it takes a lot of work and a lot of time and effort, but it's obviously what we're missing the most, followed by other things, but yeah, that's where we're at on that, so I appreciate
Hopefully
it.
under the new state budget, the $97 million they allocated to law enforcement, there should be some more grant money.
I believe they're working on, and I go to the Downriver Chiefs and Sheriffs meetings, and Dan Fonis from Wayne County Sheriff, that man is brilliant, he knows every law, doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. I was told that they're trying to wrap in $10 million. So $10 million will get divided against all the different agencies, which should be enough to at least get us this road, and then we hopefully get on. If one department says we want $10 million for the people, it doesn't work. They advocate it out, so we'll have spots there, but it is a lot of paperwork to do, get them in there. So we're in a very short time frame, and
So that's your goal, is to get some candidates in there for the January class.
It sure is.
With council's approval.
With council's approval, but I do believe that civil service needs to approve a list and make sure where it's
Okay.
at. So I
If
know.
you can get 4
who's on it.
candidates, you got enough spots for them. That was yeah.
I got 16 cops, you just approved 20, what? 28?
28.
Am I gonna get that many people to get in? I'm gonna try.
You fill that 28 and come and talk to us.
Mm-hmm.
It's a start.
Yes.
28 's a
Fire
start.
department,
Thank you.
fire department, welcome back.
I'm
We sure
sorry,
missed
I owe you lunch.
I'm trying to be faster than the police chief.
Well, you- yeah,
So long-winded.
The microphone's not on, but you can
talk
speak
louder
into it
too.
The
anyway.
over-unders.
Mine wasn't needed, but I guess I didn't need it.
I have girl voice, some people can't hear me. Alright, for the month of September, hi everybody. For the month of September, we had 4 fires in the city of Melvindale, nothing too alarming. Let's see, we had on route, we had a dumpster fire, got that out very quickly, no issue, no surrounding, damage. Then we had a dryer fire over on Harmon. That was actually contained, the resident closed the dryer and unplugged it and shut the gas off and suffocated the fire. They couldn't have done it better, did a great job, we made sure everything was still good. And, let's see, Lindenwood Drive. Stove fire on Lindenwood. They had the fire out upon our arrival, there was still, smoke in the apartment, and whatever was on the stove was still smoking, they shut it off, extinguished everything, disconnected the stove so that it couldn't be used. And the last one was in 94, and it was just a brush fire on the side of the road, about 1,000 square feet, and we got that out, no problem. We didn't really have any, huge upticks, in runs, except for, I mean, sometimes the numbers look skewed, cause last month we had, 2, and then the previous month we had 4, so it looks like there was a huge drop or a huge increase in some things, but overall, the numbers haven't really changed a whole lot for any of the runs, nothing alarming, a few more car accidents than usual. And then one other thing I was hoping to mention today, so I saw the mayor's post that the water department was going through and flushing all of the hydrants, right? But we just checked all of the hydrants.
So I probably should update my post, so you guys were having pressure issues.
Right.
So the fire, or the DPW was going through and checking all the gates to make sure that those were proper, like in the right position, they were checking the flow, making sure that there was pressure, so that's what they were doing.
Okay.
I know, cause I got a call from Jared.
Okay, yeah, because we spent, like I get, we had the whole, like, Detroit flipped the wrong switch and we
Right.
lost water, and it was, just add it to the list of, right? So yeah, okay, cause every October, we start October 1st, and we check every single hydrant in the city. Every single one, we open it up, we make sure, because in Michigan, because it freezes, we have to make sure that they drain. Every hydrant in the state is a self-draining hydrant, it's supposed to go to 36 inches below grade. So we have this little plumb bob we stick down there, if it comes out wet, we drain it. If it comes out wet, we flag it, and we check it again starting November 1st, when we do the second round of hydrants. And then again, if we flag them, and we check them again in December, then I'll bring a list to you guys. The first September I was here, I brought you guys a huge list. And then the second time, I think there was 5 on it. So, just so you know, that's when we do it. That's all I got.
You're good.
Oh wait, I should keep talking, that was nowhere near long enough. So, for Halloween, we have trunk or treats going on, no.
Well, we do, on the 18th.
Anything for the fire department?
No, I had the under.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
If you were driving from here to 3260 Lindenwood Drive, which way would you go?
I have no idea, I would ask my GPS.
So you don't know where it is either?
I don't believe that's in our city.
It's
No, it says
in
out of city.
Dearborn,
It says
but
out of city.
I give you all the runs that they
Oh,
responded
gotcha.
to.
But I just, was
As if it
curious.
was a mutual aid or something, yeah,
Was curious.
just so you
You
know,
don't know
we're
either?
next door.
Oh, okay.
It's
I'll punch
in
it in at my
Dearborn
phone.
on the south end.
And it's an apartment.
Lindenwood, yeah.
Well, you said apartment, you said something about the apartment.
Doesn't matter. Lindenwood Drive, just curious.
3260 Lindenwood is not the permit.
Oh, okay,
That I know.
I thought you said something about an apartment.
I had a question on this little chart we got. Can you explain to me what's going on here
I can, which part?
briefly?
So you get this chart, it's on the back every month of the report I bring in. Are you looking at the line graph, the pie graph, or the bubble graph?
I like the cool red dots.
Oh, the red dot
On the
graph,
map.
okay, so that shows you, where the calls were that they responded to. So everything on the other side of Southfield Freeway is like District 5B, I believe we call it.
Oh, I see.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of like the little extra that they
Okay.
got when we merged and
That's
we
interesting,
redistricted
yeah.
everything. And then all of the ones this side of 94, that's Melvindale, so you can see a lot of the calls were like 19 and 12 there in the bubbles. I guarantee you one of those is Coogan Terrace, because we go there often.
I believe it to be.
Right, yeah, so this just tells you there's, 3 runs here, 9 runs there, 11 runs over at, that's Oakwood
And the
Commons.
12 must be the Said School?
Oh, yeah, one's probably Coogan Terrace and one's
Yeah,
probably the school.
okay. Thank you.
Is that through Columbus or Briggs?
Calls.
I think Columbus.
Oh, it is, okay.
We could have been told we
Kids get hurt at
Can
school.
I have one of those?
That's-
I'll figure it out.
You could at least ask her.
And one was the,
Commissioner McIsaac has a question, why
Oh,
are
I
so many
just-
at the school?
I was wondering, look, if that was,
Coogan Terrace, we understand. School, kids fall down.
you guys make a lot of runs there?
I could look them up. for
Oh,
you.
you know.
Yeah, it's usually, I mean, like you get a lot of kids that get seizures, kids that fall on the playground, occasional false alarm
We
fire
had the
alarms and stuff.
evacuation with.
Yeah,
Well-
any run that we go there for. Smoke alarms and stuff we go there too.
Okay.
And honestly, I don't know if they have, detailed apparatus on here, because we do get like run numbers when we go do like a March's Union Month thing, or like, right now we're doing, it's October, it's fire safety month, so we go to all the third grades in Dearborn and Moundale, teach them fire safety, and then they come and go through the smokehouse and the safety house.
Through the chair, that also does include broken bones, cause I'm pretty sure I was a blip on South Gates a couple years back.
Yeah. So we get, people are calling EMS for back pain, is that debilitating back pain type thing? 'Cause not always. So I'm justified in calling them every once in a while when I get a little.
That's no joke though.
Moving on. Corporate council,
Nothing for me tonight.
audience participation.
Oh, boy.
License number 3518 I'm speaking as a resident. I'm always concerned with our city, so that's why I like to come to these things to see what's going on. I was listening, I appreciate you talking about the officers being happy and, you know, and excited and really good, and but then towards the end you changed it, and, but we have a lot of good officers, qualified officers. We got a lot of sergeants that could easily move up, that's got plenty of years, whether they pass the sergeant's test or whatever, they got quality time here. This is what we don't want. We don't want another department, or the city doesn't want. They want people that stay here. This is our problem. The stuff you're asking for, we've been asking for 5 years. 5 years.
More than that.
Yeah, you guys know. This is exactly, what you're doing here is exactly, that's why our, you know, our city is the way it is. Nothing new. The only thing is, we don't wanna keep changing. I mean, now we got a new chief, everybody's happy with you. Now we're gonna bring a deputy chief. Now the sergeants.
Assistant chief.
Now the sergeants are not, let's bring in some, no, let's move up our guys. It's time for them to move up. We got more than qualified, Ginther, Gall, Dominguez. We got people that are officers with Woolens that's got like 30 years that can take over any position. You got El Fatlawi that's got 10 or, he's only an officer, but he came from a different, so we have the people here. And you know, they're all qualified, so I just, you know, I'm speaking as a resident, again, I see this stuff, and, our biggest problem is we needed officers. You notice we didn't even talk about traffic, running stop signs, lights. We're just talking about covering the road, detective stuff, this. Now when we needed more, now, you know, that's our biggest complaint. You go on this, you know, Facebook, and they are blowing these stop signs, running these red lights. When you got 2 officers, like you say, what are we doing? We're waiting on a call, or the city, you guys are waiting on a call. So I just, I love our department, and I love the people that's there, and I hate keep seeing, we lost what? I think we counted 50 officers in the last few years, or whatever it is, we don't want no more leaving. We wanna keep our officers, and they put in the time, I think they need to move up, you know? And that's all I wanna say.
We're not, thank you for your comments
Yes,
and your concern. We're not stopping anybody from
I didn't say you guys, I'm just a comment that,
Because we agree with you, we wanna move from within. And we agree with
Yes.
you on the high quality of our officers.
yes, sir.
Thank you, including you, sir.
This is Renal, fundraiser Saturday, 6 to 8.
Well, you gotta tell us your name.
Aaron
Scott
Frederick.
Fredericks, way.
That was a circus. Anyways, so yeah, 6 to 8, I didn't see any of you guys sign up. We passed out candy, so it's not too late. You can sign up, decorate, and we got trophies. for
You said
good
Saturday?
Yeah, 6 to 8, so we break you in, you're gonna be there?
I can't.
Okay. Kelly, do you know the fire department is out, the other guy said, maybe,
I'm pretty sure,
Yes.
we are sending the rig, I will double check.
thank you. Okay, so now here's a Parks and Rec question. So, can you guys like do the thing for signs, like no littering in our parks, like maybe English, Spanish, and Arabic, because, like, it's something we've been wanting, but it's, like, I can't have cops enforce it when you don't have police to enforce it. But if there's a way we can get the signs in, like, all of our parks, because they're bad, like, people, they're just nasty. And, like, we clean them as much as we
The
can.
litter is the big thing,
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah, so that is something, go to the parks, like, and especially right before we have something
Go to
going
the
on.
park, just go to my block.
Yeah, well, I'm like,
Yeah.
Parks and Rec for our parks.
I
If there's
understand.
any way that's something Parks and Rec would really, really appreciate, if this can be written in
We'd,
multiple language.
somebody wanna make a motion that we send, that we ask for signs in the parks, one $500 fine for littering? Is that the fine? It is? Dearborn has them everywhere. We have garbage cans in the park, and some of them are even empty.
And then there'll be like food and water bottles and like food, like, I mean, listen, I'm talking dinner. Like, and like people, and I mean, and I think Cardinal Park, I think there's like people living in the park, like, there's like feces in the park. Cause that's the park I clean and there's certain things I will not pick up. So, but yeah, but if we could get,
That's Prospect, you know.
yeah, that's the one at
Clarification, that's
Prospect and
Prospect and
Oakwood. Yeah, but yeah, so that's something I would like, and, what else? Good luck, getting place, hey, because he should be in the academy right now, and there was a grant for it, I mean, you guys didn't do it.
Nope.
There was, I can tell you, 3 council members, boom, 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 and that one, so, that's it, but yeah, fine.
Thank you for your comments, and thank you for your volunteer.
Maybe check your, the motion for the sign.
No one's made the motion yet. Have we? Somebody wanna make
I'll
that
make
motion?
a motion to put up the no littering signs in the parks. Support.
Discussion? Do we wanna put $500 fine on there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mr. Clinton does.
You have to look at the ordinance to see if that's.
Yes.
Do we have signs big enough to put them in 3 languages?
That would be DPW. That would be DPW.
DPW?
Okay, so, you'll look up that we can, about the $500, but we can put, you
In
know,
accordance with the city.
No littering with the fine amount specified by ordinance. And signage space permitting in, different languages as well.
okay?
So the amended
Any more
motion-
discussion? The amended, who
I
supported?
support.
Did you agree with his amendment?
Yep, I support.
Any more discussion? Call the vote, please.
Bolton,
Yes.
McIsaac,
Yes.
McDaniel,
Yes.
Clinton,
Yes.
Alvarado,
Yes.
Okay. Moving on, audience participation.
Ahmed Saeed, 3339 Melville Drive. I wanna appreciate Chief, what you said is true. This department is one family. And when I lost my brother, they stepped up and they became my number one who was there for me. And that's why I came to work here. When I used to feel stressed out, they used to call me to come sit with them. Cause that's how family is. And that's why they're staying here that long, is because they're one family. Also, for what you said about the motels, I agree with you, we have to look into that. I have a letter that I found in my brother's duty bag, I have it in the car, safe. And that guy that killed my brother was in these motels. So I agree with you, we need officers too. Our work, I see, I'm speaking as a resident, we need officers. I look how, it's really hard for them, especially if someone calls off with 2 officers. We've been getting, it's not how it is, how Joe Alvarado said, it's not how it is, it's not how it used to be, it's different now. It's crazy, the world is crazy now. You can't even do traffic stops, because if we have 2 officers, if one do a traffic stop and the other gets a call, then he has to leave wherever he stops, go to the call. It's really hard. And that's why we're getting all the residents, all the complaints from the residents about people speeding. Stop signs. On my ordinance officer, they stop me and tell me, I can't do anything. But that's why, because we only have 2 officers in the road. That's why we need officers, and I agree with you. One more
So
thing.
do we.
One more thing is, I asked for this, like, I don't know, how, it was a couple months ago, if we can have LED lights on some of the stop signs for the night. Dearborn has them, I don't know if you've seen them.
Let's do the
Yeah,
county.
I think, can we bring this up at our next meeting? You can review, give us your opinion, and you also yours, your input, and if you guys think that it's, unless somebody wants to do it now.
Dearborn, all around Dearborn has it, and it's really good on a house.
Every stop sign?
Every
Every
stop.
stop, I don't think it's every single one.
Most,
Major.
the most.
We've been starting to
Requirements on
get
that.
the
A lot of
major
the county
intersections
roads
are
you
the first
can't.
ones, yeah.
Can you look into that for us, please, for the next meeting?
Through the chair, I have seen, cause Southgate, instead of doing the LED, they did the reflective tape on the stop signs completely from bottom to top, including like the rod, the metal holder, every single thing on it with reflective.
Anything else?
That's all I got.
Thank you, sir. Come on down here, Chuck.
Phones up.
Don't yell at us.
No protesting.
Chuck Lucky, 17128 Henry. First of all, I wanna, acknowledge and thank the CERT team for the water distribution last week. I know we have one number right there, and I don't know if anybody else, but
Karen was.
Karen,
I'm not certain.
okay.
She was handing out a lot of water.
Yeah.
When you set it up.
Okay, good. I just think that was, great, and.
Isn't
I
that
just-
wonderful to see the community help each other like that?
Yeah, yeah. It is, and it let a lot of my neighbors know, and it was very beneficial. The second and last subject I have is, I feel like going into a little bit dangerous waters here, but I wanna acknowledge, Mr. Faisal and what your comments were about the good people and trying to, I think, keeping people, good people, in a job and growing. That's why I was so adamant about Deputy Chief Martinez, trying to keep him here, is I think it's so important for a community to have long-term, everyone, police officers, fire department, DPW. I think society doesn't always appreciate longevity. Here, I'm in my 60s and I'm talking about this, but my point is, as much as I acknowledge everything that's being said there, I get a little concerned that that sergeants aren't passing tests. And is there a chance, I don't know the system, but can a sergeant keep on taking the test till they realize what they're missing and grow from it? Because we're all about training. I know you all could shed some light on this, but I don't know what you go through in terms of training, but is it a one and done with the test? Or, like you take the bar, okay, and you don't pass it, you take it again, X amount of time later. I know it's about contracts, I don't know who wrote the contract or whatever. Sounds like we gotta deal with it for 2 more years, but is this something, a possible medium between trying to encourage people, good people to stay, but I like the idea, education is good, training is good, you're never gonna.
Well, you heard the chief talk about, we're gonna do a lot of training,
I
that's
know.
short-term, long-term goals. And although it's a situation that you would hope that the people taking the sergeant test would pass, but that doesn't mean they're not necessarily good sergeants either. Whatever happened to get them there, that doesn't mean they're not good sergeants. As far as retaking the test, that's over my pay grade, that's the chief's. You can see.
Through the chair, that's my point about civil service. I'm not disparaging any of our sergeants. However, that is not how you operate a city, a police department. Why give a test if it doesn't matter if they passed, okay? He's in staff of command. The candidates I looked at were in staff of command or have degrees. Education is a big part of it. You're talking about a 20-something-year-old officer to 40 or 50-year-old officer that has to worry about laws, has to worry about vicarious liability, being able to, save someone's life with CPR, understand the laws. There's reasons why we have a lot of lawsuits right now, and a lot of it is a lack of training and continuing making the same mistakes. And again, I'm talking more about the process than individuals, and I hope people understand that. I did say we do have good people, and there isn't a problem here that can't be fixed if we have the tools to fix it. Those last 4 chiefs, I think, tried. I'll be honest. I think you're asking them to build a house with a box of nails and a screwdriver. Yeah, I can do it, but it's gonna take 1,000,000 years longer than it would if we do it right. And that's my point. I don't believe in just, let's take it and then just keep pushing on. If nothing else, they have to, in my opinion, one more thing, I think as a sergeant, you should be in staff of command. I think getting early on, understanding the ethics and laws and liability, we're making mistakes that are huge liability because they don't understand it. And it's not that they're bad officers or doing, just saying, we had a 2-year officer who was in charge of the city with a 1-year officer who decided to leave the city and get in a chase that never happened in our city, ended up in Michigan and Middle Belt. Do you think that's a problem? Okay, nobody was guarding our city. That's not a mistake of the heart, it's a mistake of the mind, okay? That's the stuff I'm saying everywhere I look. I think we're having a workshop tomorrow about having an animal shelter. That's wonderful, I love animals. We're not watching prisoners properly. That's a huge liability, you know? That's my only point. I'm looking at trying to change short-term and long-term, but I gotta look at what's your high, what are you writing checks for? And zeros going off the damn checks, excuse my mouth. That's my point. At the very least, I think you should go to staff command at sergeant, and if you're lucky enough to be the 1% that gets to go to the FBI Academy that they pay for, you should do it, because that's where you learn what's normal, what's expected. We should be moving towards accreditation. They hate that word, oh my God. Well, guess what? You know what the standard is, and that's what you try and meet, and you can show your public you're doing the right thing. And more important, your officers know what they can and cannot be doing. I'm sure you had Neil Rosso and Novi, ex-Novi Chief, David Malloy, and some of those that all talked about ethics and what's right and wrong. That's my point. If you hear anything from me today, we have good people. We've done a poor job cultivating them, and we've asked them to do an impossible job. I want to take the group we have and move them up. I want Lieutenant Rahman to feel comfortable and say, I can do that job. He doesn't right now, and the guy's trying to do 1,000,000 things.
Well, we wanna move
So
forward
that's my
from where
point.
we are now.
I think we all agree.
Chuck had a question, if you fail the sergeant's test, can you retake it?
Well, I can tell you the sergeant that, the corporal that took the sergeant test while I was away, I was unaware that was happening, that was proctored by one person to one person. Am I accusing them of doing anything wrong? Absolutely not. But when I asked him that, he said, I'll take it again. I don't know that it's fair to do that to those sergeants. I think going forward, we have to look at doing things right. And yes, there's long-term goals and CBAs that you have to address those issues. You know,
Well, can you retake the test if you fail it?
I think you could. And here's the other point.
And will that be?
Here's the other point. We shouldn't be proctoring our own tests.
No,
You're getting
that's
a
a different
test.
subject from
Well,
this
it's
question.
not though. You're paying for a test from EMCO. We should be paying for them to proctor it, not because we're doing something wrong. I want to take any of that impropriety out, any accusation. We need, you know, things shouldn't happen the way they did. Not accusing anybody, but going forward, we should be doing things the right way. So it's above reproach.
But we should also, and I'll leave with this, I want to invest in our police officers that have dedicated and given so many. I know there's always an exception, but the vast majority are in it for the right reason and working their butts off.
100%.
So if there's a way to keep as much as possible and support our troops, our officers, same difference. I mean, some days it is
They are our troops.
Yes, and we need to support them, but we can grow with them and promote from within as much as possible. That's my only point.
Through Chair, Chuck, kind of go on my personal experience with exams. EMCO gives our test, correct? I believe EMCO gives our test here for sergeants.
No.
Well, they
So
provide.
they have 3 different tests. We choose the cheapest one, the off-the-shelf test, and I'll tell you, the off-the-shelf test is one test a year. Okay, so Jessica Winward took the sergeant test and passed. Well,
Right.
why should she get promoted? We used the same test for this person here. That's not appropriate. We should have MCO proctoring it, we should pay them, and,
Well, I'm
and
not saying
take that
who
liability
should have
off
it,
there.
because there's, I mean, I'd go off topic if I wanna, but,
Yes, sir.
so traditionally in most departments, if you have to have a certain amount of years as a patrolman to take a sergeant's exam.
Usually fine.
Once you take the sergeant's exam based on the qualifications set by the department in the city, or, you know, you pass. Now, it used to be, way back when, you took a test, you passed, you're on the list, done, next one up, boom. Departments have changed that, to you take a test, now you take, what they call an assessment center. And then they add in education, they add in, years of service, and then how you perform. They add in a different, it's all determined on negotiations. And then a list from that is established. The problem I have with some of those testing and some of the assessment centers is, people are given, okay, 3 or 4 different books. These are the books we're gonna test on. But they're only given 30 to 60 days in some cases to say, these are the books we're testing. In some cases, not all cases, everybody's different. Everybody's different, right? Now, my department, we handle a lot less calls, right? We work a lot less overtime, so guys have a little bit more opportunity. However, we've got a lot more books to study from, because we interact with a lot more agencies, right? As opposed to maybe Elwood, where we would only have maybe 3 books to read.
Right.
But the officers are running call to call, short shifts, running overtime. When are they gonna have the time to study? So, just because someone may fail the test, does not mean they're not well qualified.
Okay.
Okay, I can say, I mean, our department gave our sergeant's exam test, right? We had 1 person pass it. And the next 2 candidates, I know for a fact, are more than well qualified. But the test was given on books and different things that we as a department didn't look at ahead of time and say, yeah, these 200 or 500 questions would fit our department. Now, the third-party company, take these 200 questions and you pick, you run it, which is the impropriety you're looking at. But it's gotta work in conjunction. There's gotta be a lot of give and take and a lot of working together with somebody to say, yeah, I shouldn't be giving her the test, you know, and send her back and forth and we work together. That's not right either. And things have to be changed. Are they short-term? Yeah, maybe midterm, I'll get midterm goals on that, cause they need to be fixed. But unfortunately, we gotta deal with contracts too to do that, because they have to be negotiated.
Right,
tested.
right.
But you can't, the short answer is, if they fail, yes, they can retest in most cases, and I'm sure it's here as well.
But
But it's just a
there's no
matter-
incentive, I guess, to retest other than, is there?
You're looking at promotion, you're looking at moving up the chain, you're looking at financial, there are, you know, so.
Usually you fail the test, you don't get promoted.
Yeah,
I know, that's why I was trying to see,
Circumstances,
It's-
but
in the future, even if we can't do anything for 2 years, just like
no,
incentives.
it's not in the, that's not in the contract.
Oh,
yeah, no, the
That was-
types and how the test is
But we'll,
bargained and when they
we're
are.
moving forward from this.
And we're expanding, hopefully, we get chief gets approval tomorrow, to go up to 28. And that doesn't include the 4 that are on leave, that does include the 4 that are on leave, so it's 24, really.
Yeah, we still have to approve those.
Yeah, so 20, okay.
Thank you,
afraid of
Bob.
doing this shit.
Audience participation.
So last meeting I came, in regards to Jessica Winward, she's looking, or asking Miss Spotty, she would be here tonight, but she's studying for midterms. Just to switch her resignation to retired, so that she can have closure from this job, cause currently she does not. She doesn't gain anything from it, there's no pension, she's not getting anything other than she's going to she's not going to another police agency. So she's just looking for closure. I know, Larry was here last time, he said he was gonna look into it, but, I've looked into it and she's not gaining anything other than just being
Well, what's her purpose for doing it then?
closure. From my understanding from talking to her these past couple months, when she started here at Melvindale, she thought this was the greatest community
She told me that.
ever worked for in her life. And, I'm not gonna mention any names, but police chief after police chief have let her down. And, that's why she came here, cause she thought that it would be different. And, so at this point, she's just looking for closure to be able to move on. She's gonna go into cybersecurity, which you don't need, an MPOLS number to do that, so.
Well, on a personal level, I think, I think she's wonderful, great wordsmith, right? I see the name on corporate counsel's pad, so, I'm sorry we didn't get that, we did mention it last meeting, but we'll get it for the next meeting.
Okay. And then the other thing is, I've met with interim chief Egan, I completely agree. Something has to change with the structure of sergeants passing the exam, because
Well, I think it
if
will
not,
change.
we will end up in the same situation we're in now. I know that our police chief did not pass the sergeant's exam, and he was promoted to lieutenant and then to chief, and we just had a lot of problems. I don't know if it's lack of training, which we've talked about that seems to be an issue with our department. Our officers don't get trained, and I think that maybe that's what led to one of our officers getting killed, is lack of training. I know I had a talk with Mohammed Saeed 2 weeks prior and told him, don't ever go at anything alone. Always make sure you have backup there. But I also know that it's instinct. When somebody starts running, you're gonna chase them. And, I think with proper training, maybe, and proper staffing levels, I know we talked about it, and my goal is 35, because at that point you can have specialized units to traffic detail, the MNET, things like that, things that are going to benefit our city, and then also pay for those added officers, because that's the huge issue with council, is where is this money gonna come from? I mean, we can pay our appointed officials 6 figures, but we can't hire more police officers to protect our city. I think that there's something wrong with that picture.
We can't disagree with you on that, Amendment. I didn't get that much with me. No. Audience participation. Come on.
Oh, yeah. It's been a long day. How are you doing, Safety Commission?
We're doing great, thank you. How
Good
are
to
you doing?
hear. I'm dandy. Got the good news that the hostages were released. Well, some of them, and that put a big smile on my face, so it was a good start to the week so far.
Yes, that's very good news. The live ones got released, it sounds like. And
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's a good week so far. So, coming into this meeting, we heard Chief Egan, I assume I can call him that at this point, and my question is, now we've heard it from 3-4 chiefs that we need more officers. There's no doubt about it. I've asked this body before to come in front of council and basically say the same thing. So there's a council meeting tomorrow. Hopefully I can see some more familiar faces there to urge the council to do the right thing and make that vote to bring more officers in the city. I know it's been a rough one, but hopefully we have new light on the situation that can push this forward. And I guess the only question that I have for you, Chief, is how are you going to make this happen, seeing, well, you might not have seen, basically officers turned down before by this council. what is your plan of action at this point? And do you have one? If he could.
Through the chair, I'm gonna request mayor and council to do exactly what I did here. I think it's important, and then the real hard work starts of trying to recruit and the long-term goals of trying to improve contracts. The city did a great job paying them better than a lot of their cities, but there is things that are missing there, okay? Yeah, it takes hard work to recruit, and it takes even harder work to keep them. And it does all start with training, you're absolutely right. And again, I'm not disparaging anybody in this department. I agree with you. I'm pleasantly surprised at a lot of really good officers. I don't mean a lot of good officers. Everywhere I looked, I saw officers that want to do good work, and they're out there busting their butt. And it is a critical. That's why I asked for emergency meeting, not just here, but also for civil service. I do think it's imperative that we move as quick as possible. I can't snap my fingers and make everything be perfect. I know I can. I also know there's other sides of this equation. It costs money, right? And legacy costs are real, and department costs are real, and lawsuits are real. But it does take money to run a police and a fire department, and there should be a standard. And just because we haven't met it doesn't mean, well, that's okay. And you're right, Commissioner. I think it should be retested, right? Right now you have 3 that failed, and 1 corporal just took it that passed in the 80s. He's never going to see lieutenant until these 3 do. I'm sorry, I don't think that's right. I don't think it's right for the city. I don't think it's right for the department. But I also understand being a union president and vice president in the UAW, Detroit's, Animal Parks, and the Supervisor Union. I was a supervisor president during Joyce Parker when the state came in emergency receivership. Believe me, what they wanted to throw at us wasn't ready. We almost didn't make it next door also. So it takes hard work, but it really takes a team. It's this body, it's mayor and council, it's civil service, it's the officers, it's the residents, all working together. So you gotta make people wanna come here, you gotta make them want to stay. When I said how rare and lucky we are to have people that wanna be here, wanna stay, that's gold. Most places don't have that. They don't.
I know. I've been up here for 5 years shouting the same thing, and you knew me forever.
UNCERT has had way more training
than
the majority of our officers.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's crazy to me, right? Because it's free, and you guys are willing. When when we're running at a level where they're just going, and you don't have time to slow down and train, that's when mistakes happen. And it's horrible on 8 hours. On 12 hours, it's amplified.
Point blank, we need more officers. There's no doubt about it.
Fazil's right. I'm telling you what the last 5 chiefs told you. I know I'm not coming up with some brilliant plan. It has to happen, but
so what's going to change between the previous chiefs and now? What can we do differently? What do you see happening differently?
You have to set standards, and they have to understand what those standards are, and you have to train to those. And I also don't think it's fair to hold people accountable for standards that they didn't know existed or they weren't trained on. I think you have to start fresh. I take the Italian race car philosophy, right? You rip off the rearview mirror, throw behind you, look forward, not backward. You gotta learn from those mistakes and those turns, but you gotta move forward. I think we need to turn the page. You need to give everybody in that department a reset and say, going forward, this is how we're gonna do things. And I'm not gonna talk about cases, but I'm gonna tell you, we're gonna do things right. We're gonna treat people with respect. I don't care if you're gay, you're straight, you're black, you're white, you're Hispanic, you're Muslim, you're Catholic, atheist. We're gonna treat everybody with respect. And when I see officers not doing that, we're gonna do a meaningful review and we're gonna address it. And if training doesn't correct it, then you gotta move forward. I believe you gotta take steps for most things, but some things are so egregious, you can't allow them to happen. And you can't take one part of the contract and say, we're gonna follow this, but the other part that says, if you cause the city lawsuits and disrespect and drag us through the mud, we don't deal with that. So you gotta have the courage to call stuff out when you see it, but you also have to have the understanding is they gotta have the training in order to know what they can and cannot do. And they need the tools. And I think when I said everybody in the city wants the same thing, I meant it. So I'm hoping we'll move forward on that. So I'm looking forward to having my #1 candidate come tomorrow, meet mayor and council and ask questions. I promise you'll all be impressed with him. I believe the officers will too. And both of us, having someone I can count on for a million different things is night and day difference. The deputy chief didn't have that. He just didn't. He's trained, he's educated, he's experienced, he's a veteran, he went to staff command. Matter of fact, he was the president of my staff command class, I was vice president. He's a quality individual. I think you guys are gonna like him. I think the officers, most of them know him, will appreciate him. But I'm gonna tell you the same thing, and I'm just gonna say this now. I got many Facebook friend requests and all that. Please don't take it personal. If I do it for one, I do it for all. I'm not here to be your best friend. I'm not here to be your dad. I hope you enjoy what I'm doing. I hope you appreciate what I'm doing. I'm here to do the job and do it right. And that's my goal, to keep our officers safe and our residents safe. And that starts with having a standard and holding us to it, including myself, okay? I will be the first one to go through the door. I will take a bullet for anybody's department or city. What I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not gonna go to jail for you. My family, my wife deserve better, their family deserve better. 99.9% of my decisions are gonna be based on officer safety. And if an officer does something illegal, immoral, that gets him in jail, loses a lot of money and his family, to me, that's officer safety. That wife, or like significant other, child, whatever, not having that person, that's officer safety to me. So it's not their fault. It's not their fault that we dropped the ball on a lot of things. And a lot of it, not the chief's fault. Okay, you had 4 or 5 chiefs that tried to move forward in different things, and for whatever reason, that's why I think, if it was me, go talk to PCIG, tell them your version of what you think happened, and hopefully some goods come out of it. You know, mayor and council, this body can say, that's great, thanks for your opinion, we're gonna go different. I don't think you should be afraid of it, but that's my point. So yeah, we're gonna move forward. We're gonna give these officers the training they need. I want them to be the best trained, most confident, and most proficient that they can be, so we don't go through that again.
I look forward to tomorrow's council meeting to hopefully see change, because it's been a long time coming.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate your time.
I appreciate it.
Audience participation. We're getting 100% participation.
Almost. You got pressure.
Peter Zelinski, 18606 Hannah. You guys brought up the topic about the scooters. Trying to understand what can be done, because I have seen some really scary stuff on the roads with these kids on scooters. I actually had a little boy on a scooter with, I'm assuming his brother on the back, cut in front of us. My husband rolled down the window and told him he's gonna end up hurt or dead, and he said, "I'm not in a car," and took off. What can we do? I mean, I see it all day. I saw the crossing guard throw her hands up one day because they're just not listening. Something's going to happen. We're gonna have a bad accident. Something's gonna happen. Is there anything that we can be
Sure, we
done?
as a city can hire more officers, so we have more of them out on the road.
I
Been
understand
saying that for 5 years.
But in the meantime, somebody's gonna get killed.
Well, there's state law, somebody know what the law is?
57.13.
Maybe someone needs to go to some of the schools and tell them what the laws are for riding the scooters. That might help.
Yeah.
Through the chair, yeah, he's absolutely right, and so are you. Again, that SRO would be an awesome thing.
Yeah.
And the school will pay